What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Kissing the Pink. And we're back for the final tune on their 1983 album, Naked. Once again, big shout out to Doug. And there are many other things that Doug has sent me, so now that we are reacting to the last track of this, we'll be on to something else, which I'm not going to spoil in a moment, but I do have selected already. And yeah, the final tune is Mr. Blunt. This, once again, has production credits. So this one is produced by Colin Thurston. So, yeah, Mr. Blunt, as someone who follows reggae music, there's obviously a different meaning of that term, but ultimately, in most contexts, blunt means very straight to the point of almost being indelicate. The idea that you just say something straight away without any consideration for the interpersonal awkwardness or other extenuating factors. So someone who is direct, someone who is non-emotional even about saying very significant or critical things, someone who just comes straight to the core of the matter without any nuance or beating around the bush, so to speak. So I do wonder if it'll be someone, speaking with that level of directness, or whether, Mr. Blunt is just a name, and this is, a narrative that is not so much about being blunt. So let's find out. This is Kissing the Pink, the final track on their 1983 album Naked, and it's called Mr. Blunt. Bit of a tribal feel. Why do you call him that? But all the while, the bass sort of grinding along. Synth pop, but like some of the vocals and some of the other stylings, it's like almost like Middle Ages music. Like if you took a piece of medieval music and then filtered it through a synth pop vibe, I feel like you get that tune. But yeah, it's like, we call him Mr. Blunt, and I heard like tidbits of other lines, but I'm not sure what's happening overall, so I'm not quite sure why this person is called Mr. Blunt, or whether that's a more negative, or at least, if not overtly positive, more neutral assessment. Either way, again, it's a fun tune. It had a tribal feel for much of it, with especially the opening, but over time, again, it had some melodic elements, including that, like, and it was sort of like a flute, or like maybe even like a pipe with like a bag type of instrument played, as a synth. And again, the whole time the bass dragging along, so it had like an electric feel, but the vocal work had this like playful secular music, from the 14th or 15th century. It sort of had that feel. Either way, an interesting track sonically, and one that like cements in my mind the notion that they were very much running, in their own lane, which, there's a number of groups that I've started to go through where I've been saying that about, and even as it, it just goes to show that even as a number of groups can make music that generally fits under the label synth pop, there's so much diversity that does not necessarily indicate until you start listening to these different groups from this period. So once again, big shout out to Doug, shout out to Kissing the Pink again. It has to be said, like, one of the craziest album covers I've ever seen. My opinion on this matter has not changed. There's just so much going on, and it's all bizarre. So it does feel like, on some level, even sonically, even going through the album, the weirdness was maybe a bit of the point. Maybe not the only point, but making things a bit off the beaten path was very much like part of the flavor of the album. So surely that was deliberate on some level. In any case, from Luca, the sleepy kitten, and I will see you next time. Peace.